What's up, everybody?
RJ, how we feeling? We're back after UFC 285, episode 2 of Tough Talk.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Lot to cover.
Yeah, feeling good. Excellent weekend of fights, I thought. Where do you want to start? We could start a couple on the prelims. Cody Garbrandt back in the win column.
Back in the win column. A win is a win. Little scary in the third round if you watch it all the way through. Looked phenomenal in the first and second. Had him frustrated. He couldn't figure out what the puzzle was to solve. But in the third round, what happened?
Well, I think he was trying to get back to old Cody. You see him doing some of the shucking and jiving. He was getting loose, trying to feel good like the old Cody, and there were glimpses of that. I think once he realized he was up, he has had the issue in the past of maybe getting too comfortable or getting a little too wild and then getting clipped. So I think he kind of wanted to just secure the moment, say, hey, man, look, I got this in the bag. Let me just kind of pull it back a little bit and not risk, another embarrassing loss.
I mean, yeah, I get it. Coming off of some of those losses that he's had, devastating, which is, we hate to see it. And it fully makes sense why, because everybody had him up 2-0 going into the third. So
yeah, he was looking pretty good.
He was looking really good. But I understand where he's coming from. But in this sport, there's no time to mentally toast and take a round off. And it almost got him caught.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you got to stay on point throughout the entire fight. I just don't think. I think he became very conscious of the fact that he was winning the fight and didn't want to give anything up too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm being hard on him, and I might be, but he was a world champion, so I think he can handle the criticism.
Beat Dominic
that third
Cruz.
Round.
He beat the greatest ever.
When Dominic Cruz was unbeatable.
Yeah, he beat the greatest ever. So I'm happy to see him get a win. I think he needed a win, and
I'm so happy for him.
Yeah, it's good to see him in the win column, and you know what? He'll be back, I'm sure.
Wherever he goes next, I mean, I'm here for it.
Yeah,
he's a fun fighter, and
yeah, I'm okay with him sticking around the top 10. I don't necessarily want to see him in the title challenger picture or even the top 5. He's back now at his original weight class. I think he just needs to get a couple wins, keep grinding, and there might be a title shot in his future. I'm not ruling him out of it, but let's just keep a good pace. You know what I mean? And
let's get some more wins going.
Yeah, slow and steady.
Just win the next fight.
Agreed.
But leading us into the main card after that Cody Garbrandt fight, Bo Nickal. I mean, what more is there to say? Unfortunately, there is some controversy around this fight. Whether you want to admit it or not. I mean, that's the talk of this fight. Was it a nut shot?
Let me just say real quick, I told us so. You know what I'm saying? Come on. Look, there was no chance in hell Bo Nickal wasn't coming out and winning that fight. Did he hit him in the nuts? Maybe. It's a combat sport. Sometimes these things happen. It certainly wasn't intentional. It looked more like, to me, I mean, again, you get kneed on the inside of the thigh there, that hurts. It's gonna cause a reaction. Now, I'm not saying it's like, oh, let's fake it and then try to get the ref involved.
Separation.
Yeah, it's like I'm not saying that that's what happened, but it's easy to get caught up in the, you got me, and then I don't know. I think the shot was iffy, 50-50 clean. Maybe it was a little low, but I tell you what, I don't think it has any effect on the outcome of the fight. I really don't. It's not one of those where they went to war for 2 rounds and then there was a clear, shot that dropped someone to their knees, because we've seen that happen plenty of times. And then the trajectory of the fight changes completely. That's not what happened here. Maybe it clipped them, maybe it didn't. They were still fresh. Bo Nickal was winning that fight 100%. Once he got him down, made it look easy. The arm triangle, not exactly how me personally, I wouldn't finish an arm triangle like that. But if you got that strength, you got that top control, that pressure, I'm not going to pretend like I'm going to tell Bo Nickal how to finish his submissions. That guy's a world-class athlete. He saw it, he felt it, and he got the tap. So good on Bo, and I'm excited to see where he goes from here. Henry Cejudo came out and said that he wants Bo to fight eight or nine more people before.
I saw that.
Yeah,
I did see that.
That to me might be a little wild. That's a stretch, because who's gonna agree?
Who wants to fight him?
Nobody. These, especially these. Maybe you get some hungry up and comer that like wants to get their name in the mix. But to be honest, man, like the top fights are going to be the guys that are gonna have answers for that. I'm not saying Bo is this untouchable guy who's just gonna be, champion for 10 years straight. He might be that, but I would like to see him in there with some bigger names, some people we've heard of, some different skill sets, and I'm just excited to watch this guy blossom in his MMA career.
Absolutely. After his decorated wrestling career, it's only up for him. And
yeah,
I'd like to see his striking a little more. Obviously, he's a grappler, but let's see what those hands are like. Let's see what he's got up there. But at the end of the day, grappling is still the best base for martial arts, mixed martial arts.
Yeah, and I mean, if nobody has
the limit,
if no one has an answer for it, why wouldn't you?
Yeah,
return to that. Go back to that. Well, I mean, he's light years above in that department.
And all credit to Jamie Pickett as well. He was defending the takedown pretty well up until that point. Do I think the nut shot was going to deter Bo from getting the takedown eventually? No. But credit to him, he put up some fight on the feet before that whole little spiel went down, but at the end of the day, he just wasn't going to be able to keep up with Bo in the grappling department.
Yeah, I mean, wrestling and wrestling for MMA are very different. We say this all the time, but so when you can punch, when you can knee, when there's things like the cage, all that stuff plays factors into whether or not you get the takedown. But the closer Bo got to him, that distance, the closer Pickett's fence got to the cage, it was a matter of time. That fight was going to the ground. Bo Nickal by submission all day long. Nothing against Jamie Pickett, but I called that one, man.
Yeah, I mean, he was the minus, I think, over 1,000, rightfully so, and he just showed why.
Yeah.
So we'll see where he goes. But next on the card, I don't know how you feel about this one. I don't know if we talked about it, but Mateus Gamrot and Jalen Turner. How did you score it, first off?
Well,
if you watched the whole thing.
I did, and it hurts me to score fights like that because I thought it was a pretty clear win for Gamrot. However, now look, on one hand, I could talk about how awesome Bo Nickal is and his wrestling. And then on the other hand, I could be like, man, I hate giving points to a fighter that fights that way because there's a difference between domination and desperation, in my opinion. I think Gamrot knew he was going to get pieced up if he stayed at range. Jalen Turner was looking good. He really was. You might have even scored a round for him in there. Like it was very close as far as the whole game went. I think once Gamrot understood maybe I'm losing this round, he goes in and starts hugging. And the judges' new criteria for damage over control, I appreciate, but I don't think there's enough emphasis on how the judge, I don't think they get trained on this kind of thing. So when you see a guy leaning up against another guy on the cage, it's like, oh, well, that guy's winning. And it's so hard for me to even explain and to get it through my own head because, and I'm not taking anything away from Gamrot. If I was in that fight and I thought I was losing and the guy's a better striker than me, you better believe I would do exactly the same thing. I would do exactly the same thing that Gamrot did. 100%. So I'm not calling him a punk and saying he's lame, but I don't like when fighters win that way. It's not very exciting. It's not going to get you more fans. You gotta you have to use your wrestling to either get you a submission, get you some ground and pound, get you some dominant positions. If you're that good and you can stop somebody's movement for minutes on minutes on minutes, you should be able to advance position and get some type of a finish.
Some damage. If
something.
That's my biggest question with the criteria that we have today. Are we training the referees or the judges to judge a certain way? Because if we have a criteria, we should at least have everybody on the same page for what we're looking at. Because I feel like nobody's on the same page for what we're looking at.
Agreed. And control, damage, these things are sort of subjective. You only know how much it damages you if you're in the fight. But everybody understands what control looks like. From what I've heard around, they do bring judges in, have them watch fights, see how they score it, try to like classes, where people come together. They try to figure out the best way to do this thing in judging. And at the end of the day, you're going to have people that see one thing and people that see another thing. But again, it's pretty clear that Gamrot, especially towards the later half of that fight, at least, he started relying on the wrestling and he got the win. He did what he had to do. It's just not the way anybody likes to see someone win.
Not a fan favorite.
It's not. Jalen Turner is a dog, man. His finish rate speaks for itself, and to take some of that guy's momentum like that, it feels like it puts a bad taste in my mouth.
You say that, but honestly, coming out of that fight, I don't think Jalen Turner's stock drops that much. Of course, he loses all the momentum he had rolling with all these wins and finishes, but he put on a good performance on the feet. But obviously, Gamrot was the better wrestler. We saw that. But I still think moving forward, if Jalen gets another win with whoever, I don't know what he's ranked or what he was ranked, but somewhere in the top 15, rank up another win, come back, maybe get that Gamrot rematch and see where you go. But I don't think losing like he did really hurts him bad. It hurts him for rankings and obviously that, but I think he can easily come back from this.
He can come back. I don't think that's a question. He certainly has all the tools. He's young enough. He could still be a title contender in the future. It's just, you're absolutely right. It doesn't take anything away from it. It's just a bad stylistic matchup for him. And, hopefully he goes back to the drawing boards and learns from that and gets that defense a little bit better and we'll see next time. Yeah. Hopefully he gets a striker in his next fight. That's what I would love to see.
I don't know where this guy's ranked right now and if this could line up, but unfortunately Arman Tsarukyan is lurking somewhere, so they might give Jalen Arman, depending on where the ranks are, but that could be a rough one for Jalen as well.
Not doing him any favors, but I'd still love to see it.
Yeah, I can't wait to see where both of them go in this lightweight division because they're both prospects big time, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Next on the list, we got I think it was fight of the night. I don't know what was fight of the night. Jeff Neal and Shavkat.
They got paid.
We pretty much I think we called this to a T what was going to happen. I feel like I remember saying this could be Shavkat's tester. And
for sure.
Boy, it was it a tester.
Yeah, absolutely. It was. How about put it this way? Jeff Neal misses weight and still got a bonus. So if that doesn't tell you how the fight went, I don't know what else will. The fight was exciting. The fight was great. Jeff Neal seemed to take Shavkat out of his comfort a little bit. It didn't make him uncomfortable by any means. Shavkat seemed a little bit almost out of his element. Looked like he was having fun out there, but he was definitely getting hit by Jeff Neal. Jeff Neal was putting some power shots on him. We didn't see Shavkat wrestle as much as I thought we would see. The fight was back and forth, a lot of fun. To finish it with that standing rear naked bulldog with the backwards hook like that. It's just wild, man. Intense, keeping that undefeated streak, that finish streak. I'm extremely impressed. This was one fight I have to eat a little crow because I was riding with Jeff Neal on this one, and
we all know you were riding with him.
I was, and it's not. Sometimes my heart and my brain tell me two different things, and my heart wanted Jeff Neal to win that one for the OGs, just because he deserves a good win like that, keep himself at the top of the division. But it looks like Shavkat Rakhmonov is here to stay, and I hope he gets. There's talks of Colby would be incredible.
Colby,
yeah, it would be an incredible fight. Colby and Hamzat should have fought. That's a fight that I've been wanting for a while, but we don't know where Hamzat's going to be weight class, and we don't know if Colby can even fight with this lawsuit going on. So it's just been a little bit weird surrounding Colby. But if they're jawing at each other, that's a fight I'd love to see.
Let's run it. Give us a 5-rounder at that too, because I want to see Shavkat's 5-round experience.
Yeah, for sure. And Colby will pace that 5 rounds the whole way. So I think that would be an incredible test. If you get past some, this is the thing. If you get past someone like a Colby Covington, you're automatically up there with the Usmans.
You have to.
You're in the top 5 at that point. You have to be. You know what I mean?
There's no debate.
Yeah, because the way Colby fights and pressures guys. If you're not beating him unless you're a top 5 guy. That's just all there is to it.
I mean, Shavkat answered a lot of my questions I had about him too, because he's been finishing people so fast and hasn't been getting hit, hasn't been even there's nobody stopping what he wanted to do prior to this fight. So I'm glad that Jeff Neal was stuffing takedowns, negating the wrestling, and forcing him to fight a stand-up fight, which ultimately was a war. So Shavkat checked all the boxes for me. He's got a chin. He took some power shots.
Yep.
He's got the striking. His striking looked good. He was ready to throw. And the 17 for 17, he's still got the 100% finish rate. I mean, what can you even say?
Incredible. Just a monster prospect for sure.
Give him Colby. Let's get that injected in my veins.
Yeah, agreed.
I don't even want to talk about this next one. My heart was shattered for this next one. Oh man,
come on,
Valentina versus Alexa Grasso.
I'm happy.
Absolutely.
I'm happy.
But I will preface this one. I'm the biggest Valentina fan that there is. But nothing but props to Alexa Grasso. I have never seen Valentina seem so, I don't know if it was shocked or just uncomfortable. Alexa Grasso, I was watching that fight. I was like, she is ungodly fast. It was mind-blowing to even watch. So I don't know if that was it or if she stung Valentina to the point where Valentina was respecting her power, but that was unbelievable.
Look, Ty, I think it's a mix of everything that you said and maybe a few other things. Like, look, when you're the dominant champ, right? When nobody they can't even touch you. They're not in your league for so long, like Valentina's reign. I think you get comfortable. I think you drink your own Kool-Aid, and I think you think that no one's ever going to touch you. Then you get these young, hungry fighters that are just like, all they want in their life is to be the best at something. Grasso, she looked good on her feet. She had answers for Valentina's striking. I mean, her boxing was crisp. She hit her with some clean shots. Definitely held her own. I heard some people saying that she got a lucky submission. That was not a lucky fight. I mean, that was 2-2 go. If it had continued, that was 2-2 going into the 5th round. And I scored it. And Grasso just was hungry, and she did what she had to do, and she had the jiu-jitsu to get the finish. She had the boxing to set it all up. I mean, she just looked like the younger, hungrier fighter. I mean, she had less miles on her. Valentina's been in wars. She has crazy cage time. You know what I mean?
Muay Thai time as well.
Oh my goodness! Like she's been in a lot of fights. You know, and Grasso, to be honest, man, she deserves the win 100%. Clean victory. Like she went in there, stood toe to toe, banged it out, jumped on the neck and got the sub. I couldn't be happier. Mexico, baby. That's 3. That's 3 for Mexico. I've always loved Mexican fighters. You know, obviously boxing has had a 100 years of incredible Mexican fighters. King Velasquez, I don't think he's born Mexican, but he was always one of my favorite champions. And now to have Brandon Moreno, who's one of my favorite fighters ever, or at least of now, you know what I mean? He's
absolutely.
I love that guy, man. To have Alexa Grasso now on that list, it's pretty cool, man. I'm very proud for her, for Mexico. Let's go, baby.
And Yair Rodriguez.
Of course. Yeah, of course, Yair.
So if those 3 state champions, we can be looking at a Mexico card coming up pretty soon here in the future.
Think about how crazy this is. They better do it very soon, because last year this time, 3 African-born champions. No African-born champions now.
0 for 3.
0 for 3, man. How that would have been groundbreaking to have them 3 fight on the same card in Africa. That would have been absolutely incredible. So I hope the UFC doesn't miss their window the way they did with the African champs. Let's get all those Mexican champs on a card ASAP. And
that would be
they all fought pretty recently. I think, you know what I mean? We could set this up and get some amazing fights.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only question would be, is Volk coming back down or is he staying up? But the other two, I think we can line up for on the same card.
I think Volk's going to come back down. I think he has to. He said he was going to. He's a man of his word. He's always done everything he said he's going to do. You know what I mean? And I take him at his word. He's going to go back down. I think he wants to be the greatest featherweight of all time, and you know, beating the next few guys. He's already right there. But I think
you can argue it right now.
You certainly can. And but I think he still has a little work to do. It's not as if he's one of those champions that looks back at the whole division and says, well, I already beat everybody twice. Like, yes, he did beat Max multiple times, but he still has a little bit of work to do at 45. I'd love to see him get another chance at 55. You know, Volkanovski is not the youngest guy, but he still has plenty. He still has plenty to give the sport.
He's still a tank. He'll be all right for at least a few more years. I think
he could cut that weight a few more times.
Yeah, we need him to. We need him to.
I wouldn't want to do it, but that guy's an animal.
Yeah, but props to Alexa Grasso. Did you see the video of her drilling the spinning back kick before the fight?
No.
She was drilling that exact sequence before the fight in the locker room. Spinning back kick, take the back.
Oh my goodness.
Well, it was a little different. Matt returned in the back, but it was the same sequence.
Yeah, okay.
It was that where Connor predicted his Jose Aldo punch.
Yeah, slip outside that kick.
Same thing. So crazy.
She saw the neck. She jumped on it. Very cool.
Congratulations, Alexa Grasso. Here we go, main event. I mean,
yo, Ty, it's another I told you so. All right.
In the back of our heads, did we see it going any other way?
No. This is why I can't. People are like, oh, I can't believe it. Yeah, I can believe it. Like, I can believe it. When you talk about a guy who says, I don't really grapple outside of my training camp, dog. If you grappled every day for the next 10 years, you still wouldn't get to the level that Jon Jones is on. So and I'm not trying to take anything away from Cyril, man.
No, absolutely not.
A guy could probably knock me out, but now I know all I got to do is get that neck. Cyril, if you ever see this, I'm just playing, dog. You're cool.
I'm a huge fan of Cyril. Still,
Yeah, no, I like Cyril Gahn, but come on, man. Jon Jones, that guy's been tapping out black belts since he was like 20 years old. Now he had the size to put in it. The way I didn't see the choke at first. I was kind of like, what the heck's going on?
He didn't have it at first. He didn't have it, then he had it. But
yeah, he was all crunched and bunched up against the cage, and you couldn't really see what was going on. When I saw that replay, and when you have that cutting bone underneath that number one cutter, shout out to Joel Bain. When you have that number one cutting bone underneath someone's throat, and you're cranking them down into their own chest, and that the cage is behind him, and you can't go anywhere. Anybody would have tapped to that. Anybody on earth would have tapped to that. So it's no shade on Cyril Gahn. No. But I'm just saying, that's basically how I saw the fight going. I thought they were going to strike a little bit more. I thought Jon would kind of want to test himself. And I think he even wanted to. But Cyril kind of threw that looping, he telegraphed big left hand. Yeah. Jon's right around it and got the easy takedown. It almost looked like he wasn't. It looked like it was his little brother out there, you know.
It was it was mind blowing because I don't even actually know why. I don't know where I'm going with it. I was just so starstruck. In 2 minutes, he takes down the number one ranked heavyweight like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, Cyril's shown he's been in wars with Tai Tuivasa. He's
stand-up fighter,
beating people like Derek Lewis. So he's
stand-up fighter.
He's not a walkover, but obviously he's never faced a grappler of Jon Jones' pedigree. And I don't think he thought Jon was going to be that strong. I think Jon surprised him with his size.
I think everybody thinks that before they fight Jon Jones. Everyone you hear, they talk about him afterwards, and they're like, man, that guy's imposing. He just, like, when have you ever seen Jon Jones take a backward step?
Oh, my God.
Almost never. That guy will walk you down, back you up, hit you with some weird stuff, and then if he gets on top of you, it's a wrap. I mean, that's been the story of his career. And I can't really see it changing. I tell you what, though, what happens now, right?
Stipe
Miocic. Yes, Stipe's almost 40 years old. Yes, Stipe has 2 kids. Yes, Stipe's a full-time fireman. I think Stipe Miocic has the best chance out of anybody in the division, except for maybe a Curtis Blades or maybe a Tom Aspinall. Like, there's still some good fights out there for Jon Jones, but I think we need to settle heavyweight GOAT, light heavyweight GOAT, greatest of all time. That fight needs to happen. I wish that fight happened 3 years ago, but but let's get it before it's gone. Like, we
need it now.
We need it now. Yeah, and I'm happy they announced it. I'm team Jon Jones all the way, but Stipe is a handful.
It's gonna be a fight.
It's gonna be a fight. Like, Stipe's got the wrestling, he's got the boxing, he's got the experience, he's got the size. Stipe is going to. I think Stipe has as good of a chance as anybody does to beat Jon Jones, and that would be like incredible.
I mean, after seeing what Jon Jones just did, if Stipe goes out and beats him, I mean, heavyweight GOAT, no debate.
Heavyweight GOAT. I mean, he's already, I think, the heavyweight GOAT, and this would just stamp it. Yeah, it really would, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a huge Francis Ngannou fan. Okay, I love watching the guy fight. I am a fan, right? But as far as like a technical mixed martial artist goes, Francis he's got the power, and he's getting better with some of the other aspects. But I don't really see him being like this complete, like, ultra violent heavyweight guy that everybody looks at him as he is. You know, it's like, I just see a guy who's really powerful, and people can't. Nobody can get hit with a Mack truck in their jaw and live to talk about it. You know, he just has a nuclear missile as a hand, and you know, but I don't think he would touch Jon. I think Stipe
Same
is
thing that happened to Cyril.
100%. I don't think Francis would even pose nearly any threat to Jon Jones. I think Stipe is 100% the better fighter. I wanted the Stipe and Ngannou trilogy because I thought Stipe would put some weight on. You know, his head was shook up from the Cormier fights and then obviously the Ngannou knockout, and it's like he's got to clear some of those cobwebs and get his life in order again. If that trilogy went down, I see Stipe winning that. I think Stipe is the better fighter. Ngannou, whatever.
We'll see what he does. Go
yeah,
box,
we'll see. Go box. Go box, I guess. You're unemployed now. So I guess go box. Make some money. And then when nobody wants to see that anymore, come back and fight Jon Jones or Stipe, because that's what you need to do.
That's for the people right there.
That's
for
the
your
fight. Those are the fights.
legacy.
Those are the fights that's there for you. Like, you know, I don't understand, you know, whatever.
There's been a back and forth on, I think, a Twitter or whatever about who ran from who. Did Jon wait out until Ngannou left, or didn't Ngannou leave? Whatever. But
look, all that stuff is that people will make up all kinds of crazy stuff when they don't get what they want, right? And I don't think either of them guys are afraid of the other guy. I really don't. I think 100% Ngannou thinks if I punch that guy in the face, I'll probably knock him out. Yeah, like I'm sure he believes that in his heart, and there's no reason he shouldn't believe that. And if I was Jon Jones, it's like, dude, I'm more dynamic. I'm probably a little faster. I have way better grappling. I could probably, 50-45 that guy, or submit him, TKO him, whatever I want. So I'm sure they both truly believe they could beat the other guy. So that stuff about them being afraid, look, nobody fights in a steel cage in their underwear if they're afraid of another man. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying they're not getting butterflies before the fight. I'm saying they wouldn't be fighting at the highest level if they were cowards.
They're both world champions.
At the highest level.
The best organization in the world, world champions. They're going to fight if they had to. But they're not. It's not looking like they're gonna, so we can dream all we want, I guess.
Yeah, the fight that to see is going to be Stipe Miocic versus Jon Jones, basically for GOAT status, or at least heavyweight, pound for pound, whatever you want to call it. These are two of the baddest men on the planet Earth, and they're going to go fight each other and figure it out.
It's going to be a banger. International Fight Week, too. Oh, just make it even better.
Let's go, man. That's a fight I'm excited for.
Absolutely. When Jon got Gon's neck the first time, it was shades of Lyoto Machida all over again. That's that's the only thing I could see.
Except Gon knew better and tapped.
Yeah, but such is life.
Yeah, Lyoto ain't tapping.
We got Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic, International Fight Week, July, I think it's 8th, if I saw correctly, for basically GOAT status. That's our UFC 285 recap.
Yeah, what other fights are coming up?
We got Peter Yan versus Merab this Saturday.
Let's go.
There was some personal drama going on between Merab and Yan, which Yan kind of just didn't even acknowledge, but it was the whole Russia thing in real life. So I don't know how much I'm going to comment on it because I didn't read into it fully, but it sounds like we're getting a little personal, which always adds a little fun.
Sure. Yeah, I didn't see any of that either. I mean, that's what's tough, right? About one of the guys doesn't really speak English. If they're talking trash to each other, I'm probably not going to understand it anyway. But you got two you got two of the new breed, right? The new generation. Both these guys have wins over Jose Aldo. It's just these are the guys now. We got to see if Jan has collected himself and is going to be able to get back on that winning path. Merab is a dangerous man. He's got the wrestling. He's got the heart. As far as a pick, I don't know if I can give a pick on this fight just because I want to say Merab, to be honest with you.
Really, my heart was going. My heart, I don't know, my heart or head, one of them was going. I'm going Jan because I don't know why. He's 1-3 in his last 4, but it doesn't even feel like that. He's a beast, and I don't think the numbers speak for how good he really is.
I think fighters like that, when they start losing, it's kind of like the Cody Garbrandt thing. It's like you're going up. You hit that ceiling, and then a loss can crush some of these guys, you know, and it's like it kind of knocks you back a peg. And if you're not really ready for that at the highest level, it can mess with you psychologically, I think. And you know, we'll see how he fights. I think he's going to fight a little reserved because he's going to be worried about that takedown threat after being, you know, kind of dominated on the ground recently. I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. I just think Merab is so reckless on the feet that he's going to get caught pretty bad because Jan is so technical.
This is what makes it a fun fight, because with this one, really anything can happen, and I really won't be surprised either way. Both of those guys are dogs.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. 25 minutes of we'll see which fight it is, stand up or grappling, but it'll be one of those.
For sure. Probably a little bit of everything. I mean,
yeah. But we're almost out of time, so I think we got to wrap this one up.
Sure.
That's our Tough Talk episode number 2, UFC 285 recap, and a little bit of Jan versus Merab. I got nothing for the people. Like, comment, subscribe. That's what I got. RJ, you got anything?
Hey, look, we love talking about this kind of stuff. We would love it if you guys listened to us talk about this kind of stuff. You know, we want to be up there with the Uncle Chaels and Bad Guy Inc. We want to be up there with the Ariel Harwanis, the MMA Hour, you know, with all those guys, the Brandon Schaubs, the DC and RCs, the Michael Bispings of the world, you know. Those guys are cool, man. I just want to hang out with them, and hopefully they want to hang out with us.
That's what I want to do. I do want to hang out with them. We might have to start throwing some shade, call some beef in the media community.
Nah, in all seriousness, I love this stuff, and Tyler, you're my boy, and
always.
Yeah, 100%, man, and this is what we do when we hang out. We just talk about.
We're just fans.
We're just fans at the end of the day, man. We're fans. We love martial arts, and that's it, man. So thank you for watching, everybody out there. If you watch this, thank you. And
absolutely.
Tune in.
We'll see you on the next episode.
Yeah.
We got a lot more down the line.
Yes, sir.